Hi, welcome to today's video, and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be talking to the changes of the Canada Pension Plan for 2026. Some things are over, some things are ending, some things are changing. I'm going to explain what they all are, what they mean to you. I'm going to share with you, actually in different age groups, what does it mean to you, and then go into a couple examples, and then let's hear your comments. Again, like and share this video. Put your comments below. You guys always go off on CPP, so I'm hoping you're going to do the same thing. I love reading your comments. Let's get into what's going on. The Canada Pension Plan and the changes for 2026. Okay, so the first thing that's changing obviously is the annual inflation increase to the Canada Pension Plan. This goes up every year. This year it's only going up by 2%. We saw some higher increases in previous years. Inflation was much higher back then. Inflation has come down, and that's why you have a 2% increase to the Canada Pension Plan for 2026. The next one is the YMP adjustment. This is the year's maximum pensionable earnings. This is the amount of T4 income, salary income, that the government uses in order to figure out how much money they should be taxing you to contribute to you. You always notice I use this word tax because it is a tax. Many of you, I ask you a question. Do you think it's a tax or as an investment? I think of it as a tax, but because you think about as an investment, could I choose something that might grow a little bit higher than what they're going to pay out? Probably. But in any case, I digress. They are saying that the maximum here is $7,400 of T4 income, salary income. That is what what Canada Pension Plan is basing the income off of to tax you on your contributions to the Canada Pension Plan. That has gone up as well this year. Now, there's a CPP2, we call that. That's the new part of the Canada Pension Plan. The year's additional maximum pensionable earnings. I just love how they use a lot of letters in their acronyms. Essentially, this is the amount of money after $74,600 of T4 income up to $85,000. There's a different tax to that. If you're working and still contributing your Canada Pension Plan to 4% tax, you're contributing 4% of that money from $74,601 to $85,000 that goes towards your Canada Pension Plan as well. And then the last is wage growth. This is what's over. This is finishing December 31st. This is the period of time of the enhancements to the Canada Pension Plan from the period of 2019 to 2025, where the old Canada Pension Plan was to replace about a quarter of your average earning years of income. And now it's going to target a third of your earning years. That's a good increase, right? But it's who is going to get that? I'm going to share with you that in a minute. And then the YMP number, that the amount of money that the government, that threshold that they put on your income in terms of understanding how much to contribute to your Canada Pension Plan, that has steadily been increasing, and that has now gone up by 14%. And so you can see now that that is the period that's been completed. It's over. There are no more enhancements, at least for the time being, on the Canada Pension Plan. So what you can see going forward is really the two things here. You've got the inflation going adjustment each year, hopefully going to be higher. I'll explain why I think that is going to be the case. And the YMP goes up each year as well. Okay, what it means for you, we're going to go in basically in ages, right? And give you some sense of where this might work for you. If you were 65 years of age back in 2019 and you were in retirement, then all of what I just talked about doesn't really make any difference to you. The only thing you're getting is the annual adjustment to the Canada Pension Plan. In this case, it's 2%. So, for Robert, he just says that I get 2% more money. Now, you have Steve, who is still working. He's going to retire in 2030. Few more years, 4 more years of working. He is paying those higher percentages into the Canada Pension Plan, including if he's making over $75,000. He's paying into CPP2 as well, but he's not going to really reap the benefits from that. He's going to get $500 of extra money when he retires in 2030. Now John, who's 34, John's going to see a little bit of an increase. He's going to get $2,500 extra when he retires in 2050 because he's definitely contributing to the increase. So the percentage has changed is how much is going into the can of pension plan. And if he's making more than $75,000, if you take that over 40 years, that's a significant amount of money. Although it won't be completely 40 years, who will? Well, it'll be Connor. Connor coming out of university today is going to benefit the most. You'll see an increase as compared to Robert. He'll have about a 50% increase in his Canada pension plan when he retires in 2065. Very much a useful thing for Connor. Now, as a side note, I used hockey names as first names for these four gentlemen, and maybe you could think about who I'm thinking about. Think about the age group and the names and put in the comments below which NHL hockey player in those not genre but era, who I might be. I think Connor is probably easiest one, right? But they're all except for Connor, they're all Toronto Maple Leafs. Okay, I don't want to start a war, Toronto Maple Leafs, Montreal, Ottawa, or who's going to win the Stanley Cup. But if you want to share that too, I'd like to hear that too. Panthers, maybe. Okay, let's go into a recap of the Canada Pension Plan and what it means for you. In this infographic, it's pretty simple, basic. If you're retired today, you got a 2% increase to your Canada Pension Plan. Yes, in 2023, you had a 6.5%, in 2024, 2.4%. Inflation was much higher. Inflation's coming down, so we have a lower increase to the Canada Pension Plan. If you're working, and especially if you're self-employed, you're paying both the CPP employee and employer rate. That has also gone up. And if you've got a long runway ahead of you of work, you can expect to have your Canada Pension Plan replace about a third of your employment earnings, your average employment earnings when you go to retire. That maximum contribution to the Canada Pension Plan that we're all contributing into has also increased. So that's $4,646 of the employee's share going in. And then, of course, the employer matches that. You look below there, you see on your first $3,500 of income, there's no contributions to the Canada Pension Plan. But from $3,501 to $74,600, it's 5.95%, which is contributed to your Canada Pension Plan. And then if your income is above the $74,600 threshold, up to $85,000, then you're paying an additional 4% of your income into the Canada Pension Plan. That's CPP2. That's what that means. Okay, so now, why do I think Canada Pension Plan is going up? Well, for this reason. Our national debt is doubling in 1 year. So in 2024-2025 budget, we spent about $36 billion, and in 1 year our debt is doubling. By March 2026, our debt is going to double to $78.3 in terms of spending. $1.5 trillion of debt in Canada. I can't imagine that we can double our debt and not see inflation go up. It just doesn't make any sense to me, even though Bank of Canada says it's going to remain relatively flat. I don't know how that's achievable. Maybe some of you economists can chime in. To me, when you increase a country's debt, you typically see inflation start to come in play. Maybe not right away, but over the next, say, 3 or 4 years, I expect to see inflation go up. And the silver lining here is that, well, then your CPP payments might go up as well because of the increase to the Canada Pension Plan through inflation. Okay? So, higher costs for everything is basically what we're talking about, right? Well, that's the end of today's video. I have one question for you. I want you to chime in on what you think about the Canada Pension Plan. So, I have a thought I'm going to share with you in a second. So, do you think it's enough? Do you think we should increase it? Is it in the way? Should we have a different kind of system for saving money for our retirement other than the government? Maybe it's a private pension plan. I know Ontario's been fooling around with that idea. We have to have a competitive pension plan in this country. I know it's a soft point of 1 million people came into our country in 1 year. Very hard to absorb. Not even the United States did that. But we have to be able to attract talented people to come into this country just the way our country was formed, right? People from all over the world with skills and desire to build a country. And we need talented people coming in the country. And we need to have a pension plan at the end of their life of adding value to our country. We have to be competitive against all the other countries. So I think we need a pension plan in this country. But one thing that I'm going to share with you that I don't like because I see it in the plans that I'm doing every day, and that is the way Canada Pension Plan is treated at the passing of a spouse. If the surviving spouse is already at their maximum Canada Pension Plan, they're not going to get any of that deceased spouse's plan. It's going to go poof. It's going to leave and go back into the Canada Pension Plan. I don't like that. As a money manager managing money for clients when somebody passes away and they have money left over, we give that right to the beneficiary or to charity, whatever, in the Canada Pension Plan. That's not the way it is. If your CPP is at the max already, you can't have more than your maximum, and so that money goes elsewhere to other people. I would like to see the change where that money continues with you. You've contributed. Now think about where the Canada Pension Plan money comes from. This isn't the government. This is the government taking our money and investing it. But this is your working years, you being taxed on income, your employer being taxed on your income, and then it's invested and given to us as an annuity later on in their life. If you were to do that in your own money, as you do in your RRSPs and TFSAs, you get to pass that money on. Now you worked all your life. You were gainfully employed, constantly upgrading your skills, tried not to take many sick days. You put in your time and your effort. That money should last not just your lifetime. It should be an asset that belongs to your family. This is the change I'd like to see in the Canada Pension Plan. What do you think about that? Put your comments below. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I off my rocker? Let me know. Again, it was great to see you in this video. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you giving your time once again, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks, and be well.